for 2017 were presented to you at the sales conference back in September. We're presenting them you here again today, just as a refresher, due to the importance in terms of the revenue that they're anticipated to contribute to the list this year. Have I mentioned that collectively they're worth about £92,000? So just as a refresher, and I'm sure you're all well and familiar with them by now, the key titles for 2017 were Raj, Waters and Rashid, Events Management, 3rd edition, that was published in April of 2017. The Brunt, Horner and Semley, which was a brand new book for us called Research Methods in Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management, that published in September 2017. And the third one being also another brand new book for our list, Hudson, Marketing for Tourism, Hospitality and Events. That was also published in April 2017. But just to give you an overview about what each of the books do and what the likely competitors are, we're going to start off with the Raj, Waters and Rashid, Events Management. So just as an overview to the book, highlighting both the theoretical and operational aspects of events management, the book is purposefully broad in scope to help prepare students for a future career in events management. Topics covered include all the managerial components involved in setting up and running an event, from event conception through financial and legal considerations, marketing and the importance of media, logistical preparations and considerations such as the environment and social repercussions of events and fostering reflective thinking. It has some key strengths to it based on what the reviewers told us, and for ones for you to speak about, particularly with your lecturers when you're calling. One of the key things is that it's shorter and concise. Students are reading less and it's really becoming more difficult to set long readings, so that addresses that very well. It's basic and cuts out all the jargon for events management students, many of whom come to the course through clearing and are not the most academically able. It also includes 3 new hot topic chapters, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So brand new to the new edition, in addition to updated tables and examples throughout, the new chapters included are on crowd control and crowd dynamic, expos, conferences and conventions, as well as brand co-creation and social media. These will be really interesting to your lecturers. From a student perspective, it's comprehensive, yet it's concise. It's easy to read and understand, and it covers that social media aspect, which is of much interest, as we know. In terms of the competition, there are some key competitors out there. Bowden et al. Events Management from Rutledge, as well as Schoen and Parry's Successful Event Management Practical Handbook from Cengage rather. The above are 2 current leading and most established competitor textbooks in the area, now in their respective 3rd and 4th editions, and both with companion websites. The former is usually described as the must-have Bible for this area of studies and retains its position through the status quo in its size rather than it being a particularly strong text. Raj really is concise yet comprehensive compared to the Bowden, and compared to Bowden and Schoen and Parry, it includes 3 new unique chapters which cover hot topics in the industry and that brand co-creation and social media and expos, conferences and conventions. The second title that we presented to you is the Brunt, Horner and Semley Research Methods in Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management. We mentioned this one as being a brand new title, so all revenue to this was absolutely brand new. Some background to it: most undergraduate tourism, hospitality and events students take a research methods or skills module and complete a research project as part of their final year assessment. They are particularly set on students who need their own examples, but there hasn't been much publishing in this space. The market leader, Pearson, has not published since 2011. So students, the market for this one is students usually taking an FE Foundation and HE University degree programs in tourism, hospitality and events management, applicable for their research methods or study skills module or project or dissertation. They typically do both. These are usually taken in their 2nd and 3rd or final year of study, but the text should also serve as a basic introduction to research for master's students. So what the book does, it takes students through the research process step by step. Attention has been given to the internet and the digital environment as a space to carry out research, and the use of technology and analysis such as SPSS and Vivo and Qualtrics is covered alongside the more traditional by-hand methods. This also has some real key strengths to it that the reviewers brought out in their reviews. It's written by established researchers themselves and are known within the market. It provides a concise and step-by-step approach and is up to date with all the latest digital research trends, including ethnography, researching social media and large data, etc. From a student perspective, what's interesting to them is that it guides students through the research process, all those up-to-date examples as well, and it's more concise and cheaper than Veiled, which is the main book that you're likely to meet. So in terms of the competition, we have a few. Main ones to highlight here really are the Sirakaya Turk et al. Research Methods for Leisure, Recreation and Tourism. That one's an edited volume which subsequently doesn't work well as a teaching text. It's uneven and inconsistent and doesn't have the array of pedagogical features that Brunt has. The authors also are US based. It doesn't cover events, it covers leisures, which is an old-fashioned frame of study, and it's also quite advanced really for tourism students at undergraduate and or FE level. The Veil is the other main one that you're likely to come across. This is arguably the best title in the market from a top name professor, and being Pearson has sold well into the departments. It's a market leader, however it's quite old now, still focuses on leisure too, and again has no coverage of events. It's also quite expensive in comparison. So how are you going to meet and beat with this one? The step-by-step approach for use on courses and for research projects is your main driver there. Digital coverage makes it more up-to-date than to competition, and being co-authored rather than edited like the Cabby text means that it's more measured and consistent in an authorial voice. The final book that I'm going to speak about, again brand new revenue for your list as well, is the Hudson Marketing for Tourism, Hospitality and Events. So just in terms of the market for this one, tourism students really taking a module about marketing. It's usually called tourism marketing. It's likely to be at undergraduate level, but the book could also be used with postgraduate students if supplemented with other readings. The broadening of the scope to include hospitality and events is also for those students who are taking that marketing module. So what Marketing for Tourism does, it highlights the shifts in tourism demographics with particular emphasis on the role of digital technology and its impact on travel products and services. The authors look at a broad range of topics, including contemporary tourism marketing, understanding today's consumer, successful tourism products and services, and the importance of public relations and personal selling. Has some key strengths as well. Again, this is all based on what reviewers have told us in their feedback, which we'd encourage you to question around with your lecturers. So it includes digital marketing at the front of the book in chapter 3, but it's also threaded throughout in spotlights rather than at the back of a book. The marketing guru vignettes are for applied learning and employability. Global focus, it's not US centric like the main competitor, which is the Kotler. And the reviewers also commented that it was less hospitality based than Kotler, and it was more about the tourism and events, which they thought was really a great strength. In terms of the student angle, it covers everything that they're going to need in their tourism marketing course. It's cheaper than Kotler by about £8 currently. However, we'd advise you always to check this with Amazon just to make sure. Includes more on social media and digital marketing, as well as some examples from around the world. In terms of the main competition, the two main ones that we're going to flag up, because those are the likely ones that you're going to come up against. The main one is the Philip Kotler Marketing for Hospitality and Tourism. That's in its 7th edition and comes from Pearson. This really is the market leading text. It's big, glossy, and comes with supporting instructor materials. It's essentially Kotler's marketing textbook adapted by US tourism scholars. In this regard, it brings tourism to marketing, whereas Hudson brings marketing to tourism. We feel the latter is more appropriate for tourism students, i.e. it's a textbook conceived by a tourism academic with tourism students in mind. The other one to flag up is the Alastair Morrison and Ulrika Gretzel, Tourism Marketing in the Age of the Consumer. This is from Routledge, published earlier in February 2017. So this is a new tourism marketing textbook, which was supposedly coming out in February, but wasn't even listed on the Cengage website. We're unable to provide a table of context, but in general, we're confused a little by the book's consumer perspective. Because, hey, when did marketing not involve consumers? Alastair Morrison wrote most of the book. Ulrika Gretzel said she wrote very little, and she's the social media for tourism guru, so few to that. There's no information on Amazon regarding online resources as yet accompanying the text, but there are some information around the video case studies, test banks, sample material, marketing plans, instructor's guide, PowerPoints and web links, and we'll wait to see what actually emerges. How are we going to meet and beat against these two? Well, in terms of what the Hudson does, the text does the basics expected of a tourism marketing textbook by covering core aspects of any marketing course. That's the consumer behaviour, marketing research, 4 Ps, advertising, marketing, communications, PR, etc. But it goes over and above the competition by including the lessons from a marketing guru, which are an in-depth analysis of an experienced industry practitioner, which opens each chapter and helps set the scene through an applied lens. There's digital spotlights that assesses the impact of digital marketing and social media on tourism, hospitality and events, and the marketing in action, that's highlighting real-life marketing scenarios and use specific context mentioned in the text.